All right, guys, welcome to Coronavirus Earth Science. We're in Geologic History Day 2, so let's get started. So last time we went over pages 2 and 3. Now we're on pages 8 and 9, and if you guys remember correctly in class, we said that these were the two pages that open up like a book. All right, so if you have your reference table, you're going to open it up like this, and all the lines have to match up because it's really one big chart. All right, so I'm going to kind of break it down for you. We'll do a couple questions together, and then after that, you guys can do the rest of the assignment on your own. But we'll try to make this quick. All right, so the first thing I'm going to point out is from here to here. All right, eon, era, period, and epoch. These are all referencing time, okay? And they kind of work like what we would say in terms of a year versus months versus weeks versus days. They just break it up into different chunks. They're gonna go from big to small. Okay, so an eon is the biggest chunk of time, then era, then period, then epochs. Okay, so from big to small. Next thing I want to point out is this right here. This is a timeline that is going in millions of years ago. Okay, so if you are talking about the Devonian period happened between 359 and 416 million years ago. And up here is present day, making down here the oldest. Okay, so the closer you are to the top, the closer you are to present day. Okay, so that's one thing. You're just going to trace it across and follow the lines. You never cross any lines. Okay, and then these are the eons broken up into different periods. Here's another million of years ago that we saw before. Just notice that if it says 4,600 million years ago, that's the equivalent of 4.6 billion years ago, which is what we said when we were going over astronomy. Okay, so next thing we're going to talk about is life on Earth. And it's pretty self-explanatory. If you go through here, it's mentioning all the important things that have to deal with life on Earth. Okay, when were the Earth's first coral reefs? When were the earliest insects? When were the earliest dinosaurs? When did humans come about? Okay, and you're gonna notice that according to all of this history, we were just around for this little smidge, okay? Next, New York rock record, nothing too crazy there. I don't think we have to dive into that. This is pretty important, time distribution of fossils. So each one of these letters are an index fossil. All right, I'm gonna write that here. I'll write it in red so that you guys can see it. Index fossils are fossils, specific organisms that only existed for a short amount of time. So they are short-lived and they are widespread, which means that they are excellent time markers, okay? So if you are in the field and you're digging down and you find, I don't know, Coelophysis, which is L here, okay? L is located right here, and that means that if you traced it all the way to the left like we did in class, you would know that that is roughly around 210 million years ago. And that happened in the late Triassic, Mesozoic, Phanerozoic. Okay, so you just go to that specific index fossil and trace your way back to find out when it existed. So they're excellent time markers. Then over here, you have important geologic events in New York. So we're talking about Earth events, All right, we're talking about making mountains. This word, the word orogeny, means mountain building. Okay, so the Alleghenian, that sounds like the plateau, right? That's when we created the Alleghenian Plateau. Akkadian, Taconian, and then here you have the Grenville. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different orogenies that you should know of. All right, you should remember this is when Pangea broke up. This is Catskill Delta formed. So anything that talks about things geologic, like earth, deposition, weathering, erosion, land mass movements, it's going to be here. And then here you have your positions. And if you remember correctly, we always said that North America moves northwest, which is that direction. So it's the shaded one. It has always moved that way. Okay? So that's kind of a quick breakdown of this map. So it, again, if it was saying this, the Akkadian orogeny, when did it happen? You would, again, make sure that your pages are lined up and you go all the way across and you would land somewhere over here. And so if this is roughly 360 and this is 416, you would round it and try to guesstimate. Again, there's always going to be a little cushion. So you might say it's close to like 400 million years ago. In the middle, Devonian, Paleozoic era, in the Phanerozoic eon. Okay? So, in order to see if we know what we're doing here, let's go over this worksheet. All right? So, take it out. And it says, state the names of the eras that make up the Phanerozoic eon. So here's the Phanerozoic eon. What are the eras that make it up? So it kind of breaks it up into these 3. So you have the Cenozoic, you have the Mesozoic, and you have the Paleozoic. Okay, those are the 3 eras that make up the Phanerozoic eon, which is the biggest chunk. Okay? Number 2, identify the epoch where humans, mastodons, and mammoths existed. So this is life on Earth, right? We broke it up into chunks here. So if you go to life on Earth, which is right here, you have to find specifically where it says humans, mastodons, and mammoths, which is right here. Okay? And it said what epoch? Well, if you go here and you just cruise on over, you land in the Pleistocene. So you are right here. Pleistocene epoch. Some people say epoch. I don't know how to say it, but I say epoch. All right. Number 3, identify the geologic time period, right? Always know what they're asking you for. Period when the trilobites became extinct. All right. So trilobites are a type of organism. And if you look here, these bars are all types of organisms, right? There's many different dinosaurs. There's many different mammals. And where the bar starts, that tells you when they started. And where the bar ends, that tells you when they ended, when they went extinct. Okay? So this question is saying, what period did trilobites become extinct? So if you go to the trilobite bar, which is right here, it ends right here. So that means that this is when they went extinct. So if you go and cruise on over, it happened at the end of the Permian, or the beginning of the Triassic. So I would say the late Permian. Period. Okay? Important geologic events in New York. So now we're over here. It says identify the mountain range that was formed during the Permian period. Okay, so now they're giving us the Permian period, and we have to figure out what mountain range was formed. So go to Permian period and go over to this column that we're in right now. And if you look, we landed right here, Alleghenian orogeny. So we're gonna write that in Alleghenian orogeny. That means that that was built in the Permian period. Last one, identify the time period when North America was below the equator. All right, so inferred positions of Earth's land masses. Look at when North America, which is the shaded one, was below the equator, which is this, right, the equator. So right here, North America is below the equator. So what time period would this be? Trace it over. We are in the Ordovician. Okay, so that's just a little breakdown of how you would use this chart. As far as the other assignment that is in this folder, I kind of gave you guys this. It breaks it down on when to use which pages and when it's going to be useful. I threw your definition of an index fossil there for you. So this is a good resource to look at to help you out. And I would like it if you got this done. Okay, these questions are going to go with the PowerPoint. These you should be able to accomplish using pages 8 and 9, and then you have a summary question. All right, hope everyone is doing well, nice and safe. I missed you terribly. All right, bye.